Welcome, everyone, to the Midnight Matinee. We're taking a break from our covering of the 31 Days of Halloween, and we're going to do a review of the Thanksgiving movie, Thanksgiving. It was a short that aired in the Grindhouse movie back in the early 2000s, a Robert Rodriguez film. And that little short got so much traction that they decided to make an entire movie about it. So we watched it last week, and we did a little short about it, and it got really good traction on the YouTube. So we thought we'll do a whole review on it. We'll put the 31 Days of Halloween reviews off for 1 week and have a Thanksgiving movie. So as always, I'm Bob from the Veritas Project. This is my wife Angi.
Hello.
And we're here in the haunted. The hallway to the Linen Library. So where should we start?
Well, let's talk about what's coming up. Before we get into the movie, I thought I'd like to announce that we are going to be doing 24 nights of Christmas horror movies.
Yeah.
We have come up with we've culled a list that is guaranteed to probably either make you shake your head or give you a good fright.
Yeah, it was hard to come up with a list of Christmas horror movies because there's like 500 billion Krampus movies out there.
Yes, very true.
And there's not too many that are like Christmas movies. So it seems to be really the thing right now to make a Krampus movie. So we do have some Krampus movies, but we're going to try to keep it more Christmas than Krampus, just horror, Krampus movies. So
hopefully it'll be a bloody delight. We'll be starting that on Sunday. We'll start doing the shorts to tell you what the movie is once every evening.
Yeah.
I'm making a special advent calendar. It's not completely complete, but it is definitely in the works, and will be done by Sunday.
Yeah.
And
so looking forward to that.
Yep. So you can follow along if you're interested. We did go through and made sure we figured out where they all come from, because that's the hardest part. And I'm waiting for December 1st to roll around, where they'll put every Christmas movie
behind a paywall.
Like
they do for Halloween.
But it's a guarantee, I know, that every one of these can be rented if necessary.
Every year, we in September, we come up with a list of our Halloween movies that we're going to do for our 31 Days of Halloween. And on October 1st, almost every single one of them is locked behind a paywall. All of the pay streaming services gobble them all up and lock them away in their little closet.
You said gobble.
Yeah. So that way they have to make you pay to watch the Halloween movies. So it's awful.
Yeah.
And we have a subscription to Shudder, and Shudder will go from 1,000 movies down to 20. For Halloween, because everybody takes everything back and locks it behind a paywall.
Yeah.
It's the most shameful thing, but what are you going to do? Capitalism, right?
Yeah.
So you want to talk about this?
Let's talk about what I hope to become a Thanksgiving classic movie.
Yeah.
Because you don't have many classic movies that fall on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving, right.
I guess Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the one made around Thanksgiving, is it? I think we found that out when we did our original 24 Days of Christmas movies.
Right, and then we found out Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is not a Christmas movie.
No,
it's
not
a
at
Thanksgiving movie. We didn't find that out till about halfway through watching it.
We're like, wait a minute.
Huh.
This is the wrong holiday.
Yeah.
It started out very, we would... we watched The Grinch and Charlie Brown and all that. We did the whole 24 days like that. And we're like, oh, this isn't definitely our speed,
Right.
We want something a little more edgy.
Yeah.
So we thought, what's better than watching 24 nights of Christmas horror movies?
There you go. Horror movies. That's what our channel's all about.
I kind of like it because they start Christmas so early, so every year, before the Thanksgiving or even before Halloween is over. So we're going to push Halloween
into Christmas. We're going to invade Christmas territory with horror movies. Since now all the shameless scumbags start Christmas around July.
Yeah. Well, technically they start Halloween around August too.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't care. Halloween's a fun holiday. Christmas is annoying.
Yeah.
I just Mariah Carey just grates on my nerves. It's so bad.
I got my special sweatshirt for Christmas that if you read it, you're gonna sing the song in your head. But anyway, let's talk about Thanksgiving.
Right, Thanksgiving, the movie. It's
because today is Thanksgiving.
Right, it's Thanksgiving. Right now is the filming of this. So the Macy's parade is going on as we speak, and that's what this movie's about. It starts on Black Friday, and
actually, no, I think it's Thanksgiving night is when it happened, didn't it? Because they were having Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's the stores open for Black Friday when they're on their way to they're going to a party or something. And actually, the premise of the phone is that they're live streaming something in the car, and the guy breaks his phone, so they have to go to the girl, the main character. Her dad owns a
big electronics store.
Yeah, it's like a.
It's called
What do they call
Mart.
those? Like a.
Box store?
Yeah, it's like a big box store, like a Walmart type deal where they sell everything, and they want to get a new phone for the guy, so they go to the store, and it's Black Friday, so there's like 2,000 people in front of the store all waiting for midnight, so they open the doors up, and they sneak in the back door to buy a new phone, and he's being rude to all the people outside, like, look, I'm shopping and you're not. Yeah,
there's a barricade keeping this huge crowd back.
Right.
With security guards and...
So they get mad, the crowd gets angry, and they storm the front door, and the owner's like, lock the door, so the poor guy runs up there and locks the door at the last minute so that they can't get in, and they're all pushing on the glass and trying to break their way in, and the glass spider webs all out, and they
no spoilers.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil it. We're not have any spoilers in this review, but basically
craziness ensues.
Hijinks ensue from the people breaking their way into the store a couple seconds early, and there are people who are killed in the melee, and that sets up the premise for this show. And the whole it's not a new trope, for the way that the story of this is that a person was wronged, and then now they get revenge on the people that wronged them. Right? It's a slasher thing from the 80s. It's like, one of those things where you like insert the words and make your own story.
Oh, Mad Libs.
Yeah, like Mad Libs. It's like the how to make a slasher movie. X was wronged by X, and gets revenge
by filling. Yeah. Give me a verb. Give me a noun. Give me a person's name.
And that we living here in the 2020s are so removed from that 80s trope that it's actually really good. It works now. Because now movies have to have some sort of twist. They always have to...
The M. Night Shyamalan.
Right. The villain is actually the hero at the end. And you're like, oh, that was, lame and tedious and awful. Thanks for that, going to the theaters and spending $80 to watch recycled garbage.
But Thanksgiving wasn't that. I truly enjoyed it. I mean, I was laughing. I covered my eyes a few times because it does have some moments when you're like, oh no, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
It primarily, this movie is a comedy.
Yeah.
It has some moments where it's kind of like a Saw type thing where the violence gets a little out of hand.
It's not for the weak stomach.
Yeah, there are some moments in it where it pushes into a territory, and you're kind of like, okay, and this is where it's going to cut, and then it doesn't. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and then the humor is broken up by the violence and gore, so it doesn't. It's not like Hostel or something where you feel like you got PTSD after you watch it. Like this, it has the same sort of stuff in it, but it's punctuated with comedy to kind of lighten the load of...
Otherwise, it would be just traumatizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of the stuff, there's this one scene where I'm like, oh my God.
There's a couple of scenes where you're like, what?
You're like, no, please don't. Please don't.
It's violence for the sake of violence, and it's over-the-top comedy kind of punctuates it so that it's not as brutal as it could be if there was no comedy in it. And this is a very, very funny movie. It's very funny for a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie that's like a comedy first, because it has a story, you know. So it's funny. It's very, very dark humor. The acting, even though this movie is kind of set up like a like a Hallmark kind of scene, like it's set in kind of like that, there's always like this undertone of bad language, not bad acting, but like bad behavior,
Yeah.
by characters in it, and it just keeps you going, and I appreciate that a lot in a movie when it shows people that aren't all polished and you know, like perfect all the time. That there are people that are heroes and they're still flawed, and then there's people that are villains but they're still good guys. You know, so it's like it's like a reality thing. And in my opinion, if you're going to make a movie that you want people to watch over and over again, you have to do that. Because that way the story is so nuanced that you can watch it 10, 20 times and have a different feeling for it every single time. You know, like you notice something different or something happened and you're like, oh, that was funny. You know,
Yeah.
like I didn't realize that that's what they were talking about, or so, you know what I mean? Like a movie that has the staying power to be like an annual thing. And that's what I said about this movie is I'll probably watch this every year on Thanksgiving, because
just for
it's
fun.
yeah, like we watch Four Rooms on New Year's, we watch Night of the Demons every year, and Night of the Living Dead on Halloween. Like that's our thing, and I think this is going to be.
Well, it has to be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation at Christmas, you know, things like that. So this is going to be our go-to Thanksgiving movie from now on, because it was very, very good.
Well, and honestly, I mean, it kind of makes fun of all the Black Friday stuff and the craziness. I personally have never Black Friday shopped.
I went once, and it was like in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was back when Black Friday was still real, unlike now. You know, where they would say like, okay, all these TVs are all marked down to, you know, $100 when they're, you know, usually $1,500 or whatever. So so like a television that's usually $1,000 is marked down to $100, and then you would go to the store and buy, you know, a $1,000 TV. Whereas now, none of that is real, right? The Black Friday deal is, you know, this television in September is $300. So in October, it's $800. And then in November, it's $950. And then for Black Friday, it's marked to the low price of $300. So you can get that Black Friday deal. Like, well, that's not real, because that's what you were selling it for 2 months ago. And you just overinflated the price the second before Black Friday so that you can say, look, it's marked down so much. Look at how good guys we are. Like, no, you're scumbags. You're terrible. That's why everyone's going out of business. But
anyway, that's the kind of where they kind of poke a little bit of fun at the craziness that happens right around the holidays with Black Friday.
Like Cabbage Patch Kids, like that sort of scenario where people are breaking the walls down to the store so they can grab up all. And the movie is well aware of this, because the thing that they're breaking in the doors to get is like an air fryer, like something that's stupid.
No, was it an air fryer that they were after?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was like, anyways, it was like a small toaster type thing. I believe it was air fryer. But anyway, that's the whole idea. Is that it's something stupid, and they're literally
killing each other,
destroying the store and killing each other.
It's like Lord of the Flies or something like that happens.
To get this air fryer for $10 or whatever it was.
Mass panic. We got to have it.
Right.
No, it was a waffle iron.
Was it a waffle iron?
I think it was a waffle iron.
Oh.
Yeah. But something every day.
Stupid, and they're literally killing each other for this, and the whoever is the cinematographer has all of the people speak in that over the top Boston accent, you know. And
that's right.
It's so funny.
It's set in Plymouth, Massachusetts, so you got to have a Boston accent.
So like your main actors don't, They don't use the main. They might pepper it in every once in a while just for comedic effect, but that by and large they don't. But the B characters all have thick, towny accents, and it is so funny. It is so over the top and funny, especially in the crowd when they're waiting for the Black Friday, and they're all like bumping into each other. It is. Oh, it's top notch.
Well, Mr. McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy, Patrick Dempsey, plays the sheriff in it.
Yeah.
So.
And he is, if you think of him from Grey's Anatomy and those type of Hallmark movies that he's in, you will be stunned by his performance in this, because he is a fantastic actor, and he in this movie just nails it. And there's even parts where towards the end, no spoilers, but towards the end of the movie, you don't even believe, you know what I mean? You don't even believe his performance, because you're like, wow, like it's so over the top and right on the character that you're taken out of the moment, because you're used to him being like the guy in the romance movies, you know what I mean? And in this,
he's playing a different type of character.
Yeah, it's a totally different type of character for him. But in the beginning of the movie, it isn't. Right? In the beginning of the movie, he is that type of character that he's cast in a lot. And then through the course of the movie, it changes, and he evolves his person. Patrick Dempsey nails it in this, 100%. And honestly, if you look at the cast of this movie, they're all nondescript people. I've never. Some of these actors don't even have an IMDb page.
Yeah, we kind of were looking them up to see. Gina Gershwin's in there, but she's only in there for
maybe 2 minutes.
2 minutes
at the most. She's just Gina Gershon is in it just like that fast, and then I guess that's all they could afford.
Because it only had a budget of what was it, 11 million, I think?
15.
Oh, 15 million.
Yeah, the movie had a budget of 15 million and it grossed 47 million. So
that's pretty good worldwide.
It's the flip of a modern Disney movie.
I wonder how obviously Thanksgiving is a very American holiday. Do other countries celebrate Thanksgiving? No. Not even Canada?
No. Nope. It's only America.
It's only American. So I wonder how that would translate worldwide. Like, do they
Apparently it did really good in India, they were saying.
That's kind of interesting.
I don't know.
They don't even eat turkey, probably.
I don't even think they wouldn't even know what a turkey is in India.
So. Anyways, it was good. It was really very, very good. I would recommend it to anybody who if you're in a drought during Thanksgiving, there's not really a Thanksgiving movie, and you're a fan of horror and slasher movies, like the old school, like Freddy Krueger, Jason, I would even go so far to say like Child's Play type slasher movies. This fits right in there with those movies, but it's also a black comedy. Yeah. So it's not as serious as like A Nightmare on Elm Street, but it has comedic kind of things like Child's Play more. And it is, first and foremost, I would say it's a comedy with slasher kind of underneath of it. So it does have a masked villain, of course.
Right.
Because of the John Carver part.
Right. The town's...
mascot, because it's Plymouth, Massachusetts, which obviously Plymouth Rock, so they have the whole back pilgrim thing going on.
Yeah, and they're in this. There's nothing in this movie that isn't well written, in my opinion, because like in other movies, the villain wears like a persona, and then other people have it too, so it's hard to try to differentiate. Well, in this movie, the local diner gives out the masks that the killer wears to everyone who orders a dinner. So
anybody could have this mask.
So everybody in the town has this mask. So it could literally be anybody, And
it keeps you guessing. You're like, oh, no, maybe, no.
Right. Up until the very end, you have no idea who the killer is, because it's
well
written in that respect, because there's there's multiple people that have a motive to be the killer, and then there's lots of people that have the opportunity to be the killer, and then there's also similar stature of the killer, people that could be the killer. They all are similar size dudes, so that it could be any one of, until the very end. You won't know unless you're a fashion person like me, who knew. Who figured it out?
No spoilers.
I figured it out towards the middle, but I didn't say anything.
It does it kept you guessing, because you were
It
like,
did.
and you're like, okay, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Why are they, don't do that.
Right. And then, because you're like, well, this person, in your mind, you're like, well, this is this girl's boyfriend, and this is the ex-boyfriend, and then you're like, well, this it could be this guy, but then he was there, so they couldn't, like...
He's too tall, he's too short.
Right.
He's too fat, it's like...
Yeah, and so the whole time, in your mind, you're doing like the thing with the red string and the pins, like
like you make a murder board?
Right. You're like, it could be this guy, but then he's connected to her, so then he wouldn't have the motive to kill this one. So then why would it, you know what I mean? And then in the end, you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, it all comes around.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. We really enjoyed it.
100%.
I'm sure I saying, let's watch Thanksgiving, and he was probably like, this is going to be dumb. But he submitted and actually watched it, and he ended up really liking it.
I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Really well done.
And it's definitely, if you don't like football, it's something you can watch.
Right. You can start a new Thanksgiving tradition.
I don't think we could come up with 31 days of Thanksgiving movies, though.
No.
No. But
You could maybe movies that have Thanksgiving in it, but I don't think so.
yeah. But anyway.
But we're definitely going to watch this every year because it was that good.
Yep. Oh, we didn't come up with the rating.
Let's use our rating.
Yeah, what's our rating on this one?
Oh, it's definitely Hell's Bells for me.
Hell's Bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. He can watch
Bing!
it again.
Yeah, I would rewatch it every year. This will be the thing that every year for Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving dinner, we'll sit down and watch.
It definitely has
Watch
some
Thanksgiving.
campiness to it, but it was a good watch. It was enjoyable, and I'm like, it kept me because sometimes I'm like, oh, this is boring, this is formulaic.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have some formulaic, but that's the horror genre for
I
you.
don't feel like for this movie's runtime, I don't feel like there was any wasted time. It
did not drag at all.
If there's any exposition in this movie, and then you feel like, wow, that scene was just kind of, they showed you something in there that you didn't catch, right? Because the whole movie is very tightly edited, and there's not a lot of wasted exposition in this movie at all. So if there's a scene that you're like, this doesn't really fit, they showed you something there that you didn't catch. Because I thought that too. There's like this whole...
You have to kind of catch the clues.
There's a whole scene where they're filming a commercial in like John Carver's cabin.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of out of place. But then like a second later, you figure out, okay, there's...
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on the
they
details.
told you in there why that scene was in there, and then it's a big part of the end. So there's no wasted footage in this movie at all. It's very, very tight, very, very well edited. The director of photography has a really good eye, and a lot of times in these sorts of movies they will like show like kindergarten, show you something, and this movie doesn't do that, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
They kind of have a scene where something's happening in the foreground and they want you to see something in the background, and they don't hover on it. Like, obviously. They just kind of pan.
Kind of like in The Quiet Space, where she was going up the stairs and the nail.
Like, that's... I did not like A Quiet Place. And one of the first... Maybe the first 5 minutes of it is what ruined that entire movie for me. When she's walking up the stairs with the laundry bag, and there's a nail curled over, and the laundry bag catches on the nail and straightens it up, and I was like, here we go.
It's gotta come back around.
And then in the end, she's walking barefoot down the stairs and cuts her foot on the nail and screams, and you're like, oh no, why did this happen? Like, oh, because you told us that in the very beginning of the movie. That's a movie we'll have to. Maybe we'll do a review on movies that people love that are actually terrible, and the Quiet Place movies will be in the top tier of that.
Now, we only watched the first one. We can't say anything.
I won't see the second one. That's how bad.
I think there's a third one now.
I will not. I won't subject myself to that obvious, tedious nonsense that was the Quiet Place movies.
They're supposed to be making a sequel to this Thanksgiving movie.
I hope they do.
So I'm wondering if they're going to bring back the same killer, or is it going to be like an anthology where someone else picks up the mantle, or will it be a different?
I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can go with it.
Well, you think about like even the original Halloween was originally only supposed to be an anthology. That was the one story with Michael Myers, and then the next year they were supposed to do something different, but they didn't. They brought back Michael Myers again, and then the third one, which everybody hates, and I actually enjoy,
my favorite
Season of the Witch, because it was a completely different story.
Right. That's my favorite of the Halloween movies. Is the mask one, because it was more of a story than the Michael Myers Halloween ones, where it's just like he's a killer and he's crazy. Like, well, somebody shot him in the head and then burned him. I don't care how crazy you are.
Yeah, how many times can he keep coming back? I mean,
well, Jason does too. Like, Jason is immortal though. He's like, a zombie underneath that. Whereas Michael Myers is supposed to be crazy. Like, not the same thing. But,
Anyway, so bringing it back.
We rabbit hole
here. So, yeah, we're going to give this one the Hell's Bells.
Bells.
I think that we want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Hopefully everybody has a great one. And we will see you next time on the Midnight Matinee.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.